What is going on? This is 707 Fit. Checking in with you guys. Are doing well, doing terrific, and we are back with another video. So in today's video, as you can see, we are not in St. Louis anymore. We are in Chicago, foggy Chicago. So in today's video, I'm going to take you guys through what the next 8 weeks of this ultramarathon prep is looking like. In case you don't know, we are training for our first ultramarathon, the 50 miler in Moab, Utah, called the Behind the Rock 50 miler. This is my first ultramarathon training. I've done a half marathons, I've done one marathon, Chicago Marathon, and now I thought, you know, why not? Let's take up another challenge, and that challenge is going to be a 50 miler. So what I want to do with this series is I want to bring you guys along. One, it's a sense of accountability for me. At the same time, I want to take you guys through this journey so you too can see how possible things are. This is not easy for me at all. This is very difficult, but at the same time I want to bring you guys along. One, sense of accountability, so when you do see me conclude or finish this 50 miler, it's not going to be a surprise to you because you've seen the work that went into this process. So you can believe if you apply yourself and put the work in, you too can do extraordinary things, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with this series. And as always with this channel, two things I try to do with this channel: one is to educate and inform, and two is to motivate you. It's to motivate you that you too can do extraordinary things, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve. So if you have any questions or anything you want me to apply or anything to add in this series, put a comment below and let me know, and I'll make sure I add that, I sprinkle those in throughout the series. So like I said, we are in beautiful Chicago. So on today's run, called for a 16-mile run, so it's been a deload week for me. The week before I finished a 40-mile week, and now it's been a 32-mile week, 10 miles less than what I normally would do. So this morning called for a 16-mile run. So I already went ahead and did the first 6 mile with my wife this morning, and she too is training for a half marathon in a couple of weeks. So it's kind of nice to get that running with her. I will always tell people this: it is nice when you have a supportive partner. It is nice when you do hard things together, because you can definitely motivate each other, and that is what she is being able to do for me. And truth be told, she's the one that actually started running first, because in this same trail that I'm running at right now, I vividly remember 5 years ago I was running. She was training for a marathon, and I could barely make it 3 miles. So it's kind of full circle that I'm here running with her longer miles than 3 miles. So I finished 6 miles with her, and now I'm going to finish the rest of the 10 miles, and then I'm going to grab some food. Then I'm going to sit down and lay out the next plan for the next 8 weeks, what to expect, training, nutrition, and what my expectation and finish time for the 50 miler will be. Let's get after it.
Reckless tour, but I got expensive habits. Don't step in soul. I'm a real one, check my fabric. Ay, I said reckless tour, but I got expensive habits. Don't step in soul. I'm a real one, check my fabric. Look at my fabric, out of this atlas, I point way up. I got a passion.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the conclusion of the run. Finished the run, 15 miles in 2 hours and 22 minutes, 5 seconds, at a pace of 9:28. So to do 16, but I cut it short at 15 because your boys' balls were chafing. But tomorrow we got 5 miles, so I'm going to add that 1 mile to tomorrow's 5 miler, making it 6. So yeah, spare my balls for today so we can live to run another day. All right, so we changed and driving right now to Walgreens to pick up a few things real quick, but gonna be exploring Chicago. In case you guys don't know, I am originally from Chicago, but I live around the St. Louis area now. And the reason why we're in Chicago is because I turned 40. In case you guys haven't heard in previous videos, I turned 40 last December, and my family was just all over the place traveling during the holidays. So this is the time where we actually get together, and they want to have a dinner for me. That's the main reason why I'm in Chicago this weekend, of course. And so I'm in Chicago trying to get the runs in and trying to hit up a few of my favorite places. So that's why we are in Chicago, and because we're going to be doing that, taking you guys along with me. Then we have dinner later tonight, and we are going to be crushing another 6 miler with the homie, Crack Joe, the extraordinary boxer, talented fitness influencer himself. Going to be clocking in 6 miles with him tomorrow morning. And yeah, just taking you guys along. Then we're going to sit down and have a nice chat about what this next few episodes of the ultramarathon prep is going to be looking like. All right, so this is the next day from the last video, guys. So what we did yesterday is I went after the run, went to Starbucks, got some coffee, did some shopping, and for the rest of the day I hung out with my wife. And later in the night we went to a restaurant in Chicago because, again, like I said, the reason why I was in Chicago is because we are celebrating my 40th birthday. And after that We had the night, went home, drove back to St. Louis today, and now we're back in the gym. Starting off day 1, week 2 of our strength training program. Of course, because I'm going to be training for an ultramarathon doesn't mean my training is going to take in the back seat. So for the next 9 weeks, the way my training is going to be, volume when it comes to upper body training is relatively going to stay the same. And the reason being is I'm now using my upper body for running. I can still hit the maximum effective volume that I need to hit to keep growing my upper body. The big change that's going to be happening in the next 9 weeks is going to be coming from my lower body, which I'm going to be reducing a lot of volume from. So the biggest adjustment that we are going to be making is going to be lower body volume, meaning upper body volume is relatively going to stay the same. Right now, I am doing about 24 sets of quads and 26 sets of hamstrings because it's my least. And 26 sets of hamstrings because hamstring is my weakest body part, so obviously I have a lot of more volume to that. So those are going to be coming down to about 16. Again, because as we venture into the ultramarathon, the volume of my training is going to be going up. As of the time of recording this video, in the month of January alone, I just concluded 130 miles ran for the month of January. And that is not going to slow down at all. If anything, we are ramping up as we are 9 weeks out from running the marathon. All right, so one of the biggest changes I'm going to be making when it comes to nutrition is nothing. I'm not going to be changing anything at all. What I've been doing before is prioritizing protein and kind of auto-regulate when it comes to total calories, right? I want to gain a lot of lean tissue mass. I still want to prioritize my strength gains. And of course, I'll see if I can build any muscle while I go through this process. I want to make sure I'm doing that. And protein is a big part of that. But obviously then comes to carbs. Carbs are my main energy source. So to wrap everything together, I'm going to be focusing on calories. And I'm going to be auto-regulating calories too. Auto-regulation meaning, okay, so I'm going to be, my baseline is going to be 3,000 calories. And based on how big of a workout or big of a run I'm going to be doing, that's going to be dependent on how I feel. So my carbohydrates will range between 400 to 600 grams of carbs, depending on how big of a run it is. And one of the last biggest changes that's going to come when it comes to nutrition that's going to be new to me is trying to eat during a workout, solid food. It's going to be new for me consuming food in between my workout. And one of the biggest issues most runners have when it comes to ultramarathon is indigestion. So I want to make sure I'm putting myself in a position where while I'm running, gasping for breath, exerting a lot of energy, I want to get my body used to consuming food in between workout, just to try foods that sit well within my stomach so I don't have to ever deal with any sort of stomach discomfort. So I can start taking notes on this long runs, what I'm incorporating solid foods, find foods, make a list of foods that sits well, that doesn't cause any sort of constipation, pain. And one of the biggest things, shout out to Yellow Runner and a few other ultramarathons I've talked to, once you have indigestion or stomach issues, it doesn't really go away. It's like you're trying to put a band-aid on a gunshot wound, and we don't want to do that. So we covered training, we covered nutrition, and now when it comes to recovery, what are my plans? In case you don't know, I am struggling to believe the biggest key to recovery is nutrition and rest. So I want to cover one, make sure I'm eating enough, allowing for me to perform, and also for me to recover from run to run. And two, staying on top of my mobility, staying on top of my stretches that I'm doing on a daily basis, staying on top of like body parts that I know that typically tend to give me a lot of issues, especially when it comes to hip flexor, TFL. Make sure I'm staying on top of those things. But as far as any other additional modalities, I'm going to be working with physical therapists to get some dry needling, some soft tissue work on a weekly basis, work specifically with runners. So if you are out there and looking for a physical therapist, if you're a strength athlete, if you are a swimmer, look for a physical therapist that specializes in the area of fitness that you're typically prioritizing. So as far as recovery goes, I'm working on one, making sure I'm consuming the right amount of food, sleep, hydration, stretch and mobility is on point, and some soft tissue work, and so just biomechanics evaluation from my PT based on the need or week-to-week basis on what the body is showing to need the most amount of work. So those are what I'm going to be doing for the next 9 weeks. But also the reason I want to document this process is one, to look back and see the work that I've done, because I tend to internalize some of these works, and two, kind of just bring you along the process too. So when you see me finish or conclude this challenge, or because it is a challenge, you won't be surprised about the outcome because you've seen the work that goes into the process. So in case you two want to challenge yourself, understand, just do the work, and you too can be in a position where you can accomplish some goals, some lofty goals that you never thought could be possible. So if you have any comments, if you have any sort of topics that you want me to cover in the next 8 to 9 weeks, so put down a comment below and let me know so I can put that along as we go throughout this episode. So this is episode 1 of the Ultramarathon Prep, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.